That's nice. I feel like the C8's a little overhated, to be honest. Alright guys, so I know I've kind of been MIA for a little bit, and that's just because I had some other stuff going on. I wanted to catch up on work and a lot of stuff like that I had to really catch up on. But everything is good, and we are back, and we're back better than ever. Did not expect them to just turn out like that. They just had no regard for me or my safety. Alright guys, so today we're gonna be talking about all the cars that I considered before I decided to get a ZL1, because I did consider a lot of cars. Like, it's a lot. But the main car that I considered, well, it's gonna be like a main two, honestly, just to keep the video somewhat short, I guess. The first car that I wanted initially was a CTS-V. It was a V3 CTS-V. Now, keep in mind, I was getting rid of my M340 for the ZL1, so I was doing a trade-in, and I know I was putting a little bit of money down to get rid of some of my negative equity. So I knew I kind of had that going on a little bit. And so the closest CTS-V for me was about 8 hours away. And I would have flew out there, but since I kind of had everything going on with my trade-in, I knew that just kind of wasn't the best option for me, or just not what I really wanted to do. So I was like, I really want a CTS-V, but the closest one being 8 hours with decent mileage at a decent price, I just couldn't do it, not gonna lie to you. So end up not going CTS-V. And ironically, with that being said, a week after I got this car, a CTS-V showed up an hour away from me. And it showed up an hour away from me, similar price, good mileage, everything. I'm like, that's just so crazy. But I feel like God do everything for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. But with that being said, it's kind of crazy too, because a lot of people are like, man, that's why you should have waited. A lot of people don't know it actually took me a long time to actually make my mind up and choose a car. It did not go really fast like people think. It actually took a while. And then I had some issues with not necessarily getting approved, but the bank wanted a lot of steps to verify income, which not really a big deal. I mean, had no problem doing that, but they weren't communicating with me. And the problem that I had is, since I started my application online, I'm a little bit of an introvert, so I try not to go in places. So if there's an online option, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to do the online option. So I started my application online, and since I started it online, none of the local branches could help me. Only the online specialists, the online loan specialists, could help me. And the problem with that is they would message me once a day. So, you know, and I think we had to exchange about 7 to 14 messages. So you can see it took about 2 weeks for everything to kind of go all the way through. But they had pre-approved me instantly, so I knew what I was approved for. I knew what my budget was and everything like that. And typically when I get my auto loans, it's through a different bank. So I wasn't familiar with how this bank process works. So when they gave me the pre-approval, I thought I was just good to go get the car whenever I was ready. And the most I had to do was pick up a check from them. I didn't know that they wanted more documents. They didn't ask for the other documents until I was, they didn't really ask me for the other documents until it was actually time for me to get the car. So I wasn't really expecting that. And I had to put like I can't remember if it was $500 or $1,000 deposit just to get them to hold the car while me and the bank went through everything. Because I tried to get this car the same exact day that it was listed. All right, and then the next car that I tried to get, and there was a G82 M4 competition. It was like a 2022. I can't remember exactly how much it was. I know I can tell you guys, it was blue. It was a comp. It had lasers. It had the white or like the Silverstone interior, and it had a carbon roof. It pretty much had everything that I wanted but X-Drive. And there was a G80 that I considered as well, but that did come before I was officially approved, so I kind of knew I wasn't gonna be able to get that one. I forgot what they call it. I think it was like graphite gray or something like that. That one had red interior. It was a comp. I don't think that one had lasers, but either way. And neither one had buckets, by the way. But pretty much what ended up happening with the G82, well, first the G80 sold, so before I was approved, so I couldn't really do nothing with that one. I really don't even know what neighborhood I'm in. I know I used to live somewhere here a long time ago, but I don't remember where. But yeah, with the G82, that was about 4 hours away. And pretty much what happened with that situation is I seen it at this dealership, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And my friend was actually going to go buy a SRT 392 from this same dealership, and he was telling me he was going, and I was like, well, can I just ride with you? They got a car I want to check out. And I was like, I'm gonna see what they got going on. Okay, boom. So we take the drive. This is a pretty decent sized dealership, and they have 2 separate lots. I didn't know that at the time. But we get to the first lot, he sees the car, and you know, he's happy with it and everything like that. According to him, they kind of had some miscommunication. I'm not really gonna pick no sides, but long story short, they had some miscommunication about how much money he had to put down and what was gonna be the total amount of the car. They had that miscommunication. My other friend that got a car from that very dealership, and he recommended us. So they had some miscommunication there. So my friend ended up getting a car from another dealership, and we kind of drove 4 hours. I don't want to say for nothing, but I personally felt like he should have just paid what they were asking, because it was a really great condition car, and I'm not really sure what the miscommunication was. But I was talking about the M4, and it ended up being at their other lot that was like another hour away. And keep in mind, I don't have my trailer or nothing like that. So it's not like if we went to go see the car, I would have been able to leave with it. I was just trying to look at it, hoping it was at that dealership. And if I liked it, then I was gonna come back with my car and of course buy it. So ended up, they were saying it was like an hour away. I was like, well, you know, I don't really wanna go that far. And it's actually kind of crazy, because the dealership, one of the guys that worked there had watched some of my videos. And if you guys don't know, my TikTok, the Rich Flow on TikTok, and I got about 100,000, you know, supporters up there, I believe. I'm doing all right. But some of them ended up watching me, and they would ask me, can we do some videos with some of the cars and stuff like that? And I was like, man, that would have been perfect if y'all had the, you know, if y'all had the M4, we would have been good. So, but they ended up not having it, and it was at the other line. We could have went the extra hour, but I personally didn't want to do it. But not gonna lie, one of my regrets is not driving a G80 or G82, because I didn't drive one prior to getting the ZL1. But I kind of knew no matter how amazing that car drove, I really wanted a V8, because I miss having a V8. So I kind of had my mind made up on getting a V8. So that's kind of what happened. So those are the 2 cars that I considered before I got my ZL1. I love my ZL1, so no regrets on that end at all. But that's kind of everything that went down. One thing that I do think is somewhat funny, when I got this car, nobody really expected me to get a ZL1. People that knew me and were close to me, they expected CTSV. People that know me just from social media kind of expected me to get a G80 or G82. And people that don't know me from a can of paint thought I would have got a Hellcat. And it's actually kind of funny, because I did consider a Hellcat, but not for the reasons that most people would expect. I believe the F82 M4 and a Dodge Challenger narrow body or slim body Hellcat is the best bang for your buck performance-wise on the market. You can get yourself one of these cars for about 40K. 700 horsepower, 40K. Everything you get with the F82 for about 40K, really about 35 for the F82. Those are like the best 2 cars that you can get for their price, in my opinion. So I seen a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. It was about like 40,000, man. Old guy had it very well taken care of. He just dailied it. Everything was stock intake, stock exhaust. Everything just looked really great and taken care of in that car. White, peanut butter guts. That car was just perfect. And I actually had considered it, and I remember sending it to my brother, and I was like, hey man, I don't really want a Hellcat, but I might end up getting a Hellcat because this price just looks so good. And he was like, bro, he was like, that is an amazing price. And he was like, if you don't want it, I'm gonna get it. So what you want to do? And I was like, bro, honestly, I don't really want a Hellcat, but I like the price. So he was like, bro, if that's the case, then, you know what I'm saying, just let me get it. But yeah, my brother ended up getting that Hellcat. Sorry about that, guys. My GoPro overheated. But my brother ended up getting that Hellcat. So when you guys see me with a white Challenger Hellcat, I want you guys to know that's the Hellcat that I almost had instead of ZL1. And it's actually kind of ironic, because a couple months before that, he was considering the ZL1, and it was white. So either way it went, he would have got a white car. It just would have been a ZL1 or a Hellcat.